How would you prepare for a disease that you don't even know exists, and you also don't even know like what it is or how it's going to affect people?
Can I respond, right? I can respond to that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, dear, I've thought about this quite a lot. Now let's talk about if the parasitic infection, and actually, can we get away from the word virus and viral, because I know I use it too. It's actually, hypothetically, what we're talking about is a parasitic host, because it's a non-symbiotic relationship between something that can only breed inside of a host, and it takes away from the host only to parasitic benefit. So, if there was a parasite that did spread, let's say it spread only by infection of mouth. Then infection of mouth would mean that if Jake was a zombie, he would have to bite me. Discussing how you would fight a disease is simple. It's how you would fight any sort of natural disaster. I don't know what's going to happen when the big earthquake comes, the big one that's so talked about in, between California scientists. But when Mr. Tuttle, I had him freshman year as a teacher who teaches about the big one, I know what I would do. I would get water, I'd get food. I would make sure, there's a lot of different things. So if I'm going to prepare against, an epidemic that could possibly cause people to attack me, I would get water, I would get food, I would steal white people's weapons, okay, and then I would get a truck, okay, an armored vehicle to be exact, that takes money, okay, I'd pimp that car out and make sure that it could run through anything I needed to, and then I would get my loved ones, only the ones that I like, okay, take them with me, and just go through America. Because the thing is that in those situations, you never find shelter and you're never going to find peace, but you can find a way to fight it. Now, if it was airborne, there are other things to prevent that. You can get a suit. If it was basically anything that you can think about, anything that you can think about spreading, there's a way to fight it, hypothetically.
Sounds like Zombieland.
Oh, hell yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Spread in the back.
I have a question for Matt. Isn't your plan just common sense and done in every zombie movie?
Of course. No, it's not actually, because the thing about what a lot of people think is, everyone thinks that they're going to be the one to survive. But that's not the case, because a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll stay in their homes, or they'll go here, and they think that it's going to be a free-for-all. The problem with that is that I've already built up enough people who have the common sense, and trust me, because I'm a small guy, okay? I can admit that. I'm only 5'6". I'm below average a little bit on the height scale. So I get a big-ass dude that I know who's over 6 foot, 200 pounds, and I just send this dude to do all my dirty work. The problem is that why people get the infection spread so much is because they have fear and they deny that the fact of any sort of zombie apocalypse or infection could have ever happened. I don't know if it's going to happen. To be honest with you, I don't know. But I think that it's ignorant of us to think that evolution would stop itself and not occur so that a parasitic host could actually hurt and affect humans. So I have come to terms with the fact that there's a possibility, and that's why everybody dies in the zombie movies, is because they think it's never going to happen to them.
I never said that transmission from... I never said that.
I said that topic at rest.
I said that such a specialized system is impractical.
I seconded.
You can't second while someone...
He already seconded the motion.
You can't second while someone...
All in favor?
Aye.
You can't bring up a motion.
Motion is suspend the rules to help me out.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
What the fuck?
Excuse me.
You can't call a motion other than...
I'm pretty sure
Congress.
if Matt Saunders can do it, I can do it. I mean, I'm very...
Other than at Winter Congress.
So...
Kent,
Was there a
I'm the
rule?
guy I'm the guy that this chapter makes fun of for knowing too much parliamentary procedure. So, I can say definitively that you're wrong.
Oh my god.
Can we continue to
Call that motion. While someone's recognized by the chair. Not while someone's recognized by the chair.
We suspended the rules, Kent.
Alright.
You can't stop.
He made the motion before he started talking.
You have the authority to eject him.
Let's not go that far.
And this is all on camera.
Okay, so let's make the next point.
It's a talk.
What's the next point?
To let me finish?
No.
Zane, you have a point?
Feisty.
Yeah, just like off of what Matt was saying, like we should have something in case it does happen, but it should be like multi-purpose, so in case it never does happen, it could also serve as like a nuclear bunker or something. You started talking about The Walking Dead. I remember like that base they had to like learn about the zombies, but just for some stupid idea, they had it so that when their power ran out, the thing would just self-destruct. Instead, they should have like some long-lasting power supply, so even if a zombie outbreak doesn't happen, there's like some nuclear fallout, at least we have some source of power, so we could sustain ourselves instead of just going. So the second we run out of electrical power, it just self-destructs.
I just want to say that if we start arguing now, the zombies have won. So.
Screw us all over here.
How do we know that how do we know that our government hasn't already started doing this? Because when we talk about The Walking Dead, hypothetically, if we use The Walking Dead as a source, in The Walking Dead you had that base that was created, and nobody knew anything about the base, but when the actual zombie apocalypse happened, they went and that base was there and they had a place for investigation. How are we to say that America doesn't already have a base and they're not already working on something to that extent?
Anthony.
Well, actually, to answer the question, they do. I believe the Federal Center for Disease Control did put out a sort of contingency plan for a possible zombie outbreak or zombie-like outbreak, disease type of thing, some sort of plan where they would send in the military, set up bases for disease control and administering, medicine, and try and somehow keep some sort of peace if they get word of any sort of zombie-like outbreak where people are biting other people and some sort of decay. So they do have plans for that. Whether or not it's, on the scale of they're hiding it from us, I doubt that.
Just real quick, kind of like what Anthony said, if we don't already have plans, like going on right now, it's good just to have one. It's a contingency, which is like a plan in case things get real. It's like an airbag, guys. Come on, everyone needs an airbag, especially for zombies. That's it.
I think we should consider the question whether we believe that a zombie outbreak would occur from natural causes, such as a natural genetic mutation or parasite that evolved, or whether man would create something that could cause a zombie outbreak. Like, for instance, in the movie I Am Legend, they created a virus to fight cancer, and that ended up turning people into zombies. Or in Japan, or it's either Japan or China, they have a laboratory, and they genetically engineered the flu into a new virus that we have no defenses for, and if it escapes the lab, it'll basically kill us all because our immune systems are not resistant to it.
Anthony.
Again, we do. Stuff like that does exist in nature. I saw this thing. I believe it was some sort of type of insect where it would attack. I think it was like some sort of mantis variety, where it would kill its prey and inject it with I don't know, maybe it's eggs or something. And the thing that was dead, it'd be injected with the eggs. It'd come back to life. It would actually come back. They saw this thing. It was on its back, dead. Its legs were all twitching, and then all of a sudden, like an hour or so later, it got back up and laid the eggs, and they were fertilized. So there is in nature something that does reanimate dead corpses. However, if that could somehow translate into a human, if it could have enough poison to take down a human and have that human come back, that's a whole nother story that maybe science has an answer to and doesn't want to reveal that to us, or hopefully it's not something that can cross species.
Yeah, kind of. Well, I just want to expand on that point because I think it's tough to. I know it is a stretch for us to say, well, rats have this, but I think it's even bigger of a stretch to say that that insects have that because they're of a completely different phylum of species. You have when you talk about a praying mantis doing this, or of something of an insect. An insect, the organs in an insect are different. Whether they're coelomates or pseudocoelomates or acoelomates. Whether or not they're certain type of organisms, whether they have certain intestinal tracts, everything that happens depends on every parasite that will infect it. It depends on the type or the makeup of the actual organism itself that you're talking about. So for an organism coming from an insect to insects to affect humans, I think that would be something at least 1 million years away. Because if you look at the grand scheme of things, prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells had to evolve over hundreds of millions of years. So I mean, anything like that to develop from an insect species to the human species, that would at least take 1 million years, which I'm not really worried about.